Welcome to the Fit Happens Gym. I'm joined today by Manoj Ketkar. Welcome.
Thank you.
And today we're going to talk about weight training or resistance training. People use the term weight training, but in fact we're talking about resistance because the resistance doesn't actually have to be external weights. It could be body weight or it could be a machine, for example. So let's talk about resistance training. So do you do much resistance training at the moment, and how is it structured? Because I'm interested in seeing whether your structure is the same as mine.
Well, I think I've sort of don't do that much actually. I think a number of years ago I used to do sort of heavy types of bench press and squats, but recently just, I think, as we mentioned, just more aerobics.
Right.
So I'd be interested in some sort of pointers as to why it's important to carry on doing that. So I think it sounds like aerobic fitness is the major point of interest. So where does it fit into the overall regime really?
Well, the aerobic,
if you're trying to bulk up. Well, the weight resistance training, because unless you're trying to bulk up, which is my understanding when you do weights.
Yeah, aerobic training or cardiovascular training is a great way of helping to lose weight. But you can also lose weight through resistance training too.
Okay.
And resistance training has that benefit of it adds some muscle back.
Okay.
Because cardiovascular or aerobic type training will mainly help you lose weight, which could also be muscle and could be fat.
Okay.
If you do resistance training, then you're going to certainly lose some fat, but you'll also build some muscle back.
Okay.
It's a policy I've been using aerobic training to lose the fat and lose weight generally, but putting some of the muscle back with resistance training.
Okay, I thought it was just for bulking up actually, so I didn't realise it could be a tool for weight loss as well.
Absolutely.
Or fat loss, rather.
Fat loss, indeed. Yeah.
Okay. Right.
And what's important is how you structure a
Okay.
particular weight training session, or how you structure your entire week's sessions, if you like. My favourite, which I think is probably going to be suitable for you, is to do 3 weight training sessions a week, and that's probably best done in the afternoon or the evening. Each one of which is around about somewhere between 40 minutes and 1 hour in the gym. So probably about say 50 minutes on average.
Okay.
And I would typically structure that into 3 different sessions. So I'd do one I'd call the push group, and the push group is where you do those body parts involving pushing things from the upper body, and that's typically like the chest pushing this way, or the triceps pushing something down, and that's the push group. The pull group is where you're pulling things towards the upper body, so that is like if you're doing a bicep movement in this way, you're pulling something, or you're pulling something down in a back type movement. So we've got push group and pull group on 2 separate sections, and then the final section I would do as the legs. So I'd do all parts of the legs together. So you have push on one day, pull on another day, and legs on the next. Now you don't have to go in that sequence. You can vary them. The important thing is you don't do the same body part on 2 successive days. So if today's push, and if you want to go from more than 3, you're going to go up to 5 or 7 days a week. That's fine, but don't do push again tomorrow. Do push today, then do pull, and then do legs.
And I've read somewhere that sort of muscle is efficient at burning sort of calories. Is that correct? So muscle at rest, and that's why it's also important to build muscle. Is that correct?
Yeah. Muscle is much more metabolically active, is the term, than fat. So actually, you burn 10 calories per pound of muscle per day, just owning that muscle. If you got rid of a pound of fat and replace it with a pound of muscle, the bodily functions required to keep that pound of muscle alive and keeping it working on your body consumes 10 calories, because that muscle needs to be fed with water and needs to be fed with oxygen. It has lots and lots of tendrils and capillaries in it, in the way that fat just doesn't have. Fat is just a lump, just lives there. So owning muscle actually helps you burn calories, which in turn, of course, helps you to lose some fat. And the other thing on this particular one, of course, is that muscle continues to burn calories once exercise is finished.
I see. Yeah.
So if you're doing some level of exercise, and this applies both to weight training exercise and to cardiovascular exercise, once you finish the exercise, if you just walk away and don't do any exercise for another 3 or 4 hours or longer, it will carry on burning fat, carry on burning calories, and carry on developing the muscle. It won't do the same thing on the fat side.
Okay. And I think another sort of thing I'm just going to ask you, sort of when you go down to you see these sort of, a lot of they tend to be men who are look very inflexible. They're bulking up a lot, and you see them walking, hardly walk. Their thighs are so big. I mean, is there a downside that your flexibility, or you're potentially damaging ligaments or doing negative things by doing weight training that you should be cautious of?
Well, it sounds to me like that kind of almost bodybuilder type approach is somebody who is, in my opinion, spending too much time in the weights area and not enough time doing cardio. For myself, I do a lot of time both on the weights and in cardio, because as well as doing a lot of weights, I also do running. I run marathons, and I do cycles and triathlons, cycle rides and triathlons as well. So I don't have that particular problem because I keep the weight down as well. People who are on a bodybuilder scale want to just bulk up and get as big and massive muscles as they can, then indeed they probably will do far less.
That's just a result of how they're spending the time in the gym.
It's a result of how they've tailored their training. They said all they want to do is really bulk up. They'll probably do some cardio just before a bodybuilding show, for example, to try and lose some fat, but that's not their primary objective. Their primary objective is to build muscle. Now, my primary objective, and the one for all my clients, and the one I recommend for you, is a combination of both increasing muscle and reducing fatness levels and keeping your fitness levels up. I don't want you to see you having difficulty walking down the street in the way you're describing. So what I want to do now is talk to you later on about the 3 different types of workouts we're talking about. We're talking about upper body in terms of the push exercises, the pull exercises, and then lower body together. And we'll also put some abs in as well. Is that good?
That's good.
Let's get on with it.